inception, so I have the dates there. 30 is just 2020.
Got it.
Yeah, so I list, so there are dates on that sheet. I just wanted to touch on just a couple of highlights. Fire grants, always popular. Most of the fire agencies have been pretty active in wanting to go after funding. Parks and recreation grants have been very popular with many of the townships and villages. Body camera grants, especially this year, was extremely popular as more funding comes out for body camera grants. And it's interesting in the state funding where it's not just for body camera themselves, but also kind of the equipment behind the scenes that law enforcement needs to edit or keep track of or store. So we've helped a number of communities with that. Some highlights, Bremen, we worked with Holly through CDBG to get them $750,000 for a number of neighborhood revitalization projects. And we worked with Aaron Kennedy on transit for some planning grants. That was $75,000. But we've done some smaller projects. Madison Township had an issue with just old road signs. There was a state grant available. We helped them get about $11,000 to replace nearly every road sign in Madison Township. Baltimore has their bicentennial this year. They're looking to replace an old gazebo that was in the community many years ago, but they had a $13,000 gap. We kind of worked with them and the foundation and helped fill that gap, and that's going to be under construction and open for their bicentennial this summer. A few other highlights: cybersecurity grants have become very popular. We've worked with both the county and the city to go after some cybersecurity grants. Those we should be, they were supposed to announce them by the end of the year. We've contacted the state, and they should be announced sometime first quarter. Liberty Township had a tornado siren that wasn't working, and it needed not just repair, but the parts were had to be made. So we were able to get them a grant to fix that tornado siren. And Bern Township had never gone after federal funding for the fire department. So there was a lot of work to help them. You have to look back 3 years and reporting and a bit of hand-holding to kind of go through that. And then the last kind of story I want to mention was we got a call from Fairfield County Hospital, or the Fairfield Medical Center has their own police department, and they were interested in going after some funding for the body camera grants. Unfortunately, we saved them time to explain they were not eligible. So that's, again, they were headed down a path, and our job was help them know what was eligible or not. I wanted to just touch on some 2025 activities. There's several communities that are eligible for the Vibrant Communities Grant through Jobs Ohio. There's 4 communities eligible. We've talked to all 4 communities. Baltimore probably looks like they may have a project that may move forward. And this is to help kind of revitalize downtowns of small villages. Our plan is to reapply for the USDA funding for the agriculture planning grant we applied for last year. We did not receive funding. We received some good feedback from USDA, and I feel confident we'll be able to put a stronger application in this coming year. This year is also a state operating budget. We're keeping a close eye on things like the site demolition program, brownfield and public safety. I mean, I think the site demolition, working with the land bank here locally, have been able to really tackle some problem sites throughout the county. In total, we have a lot of pending grants. between 24 and 25, there's still about $1.45 million that we still have pending. And those include the sheriff's office. We did a project with the major crime unit, that was submitted. We reapplied with Judge Smith for the visitor center. This was a $600,000 grant. We applied last year. Feedback they gave us was not as helpful as we had hoped. But the program actually did change from last year to this year. We're confident that we'll be in a better position to apply this year. And then we do other things. It's interesting. The village of Thurston, we have a call. I don't say every year, maybe sometimes it's twice a year. They like to do a call and just say, these are all of the projects we'd like to fund. Can we just talk through what's eligible? What can we get grants for? And they'll have a big long list for us, and it will be the mayor and the village administrator, and we'll kind of go through the list and we'll kind of say what to apply for. And Thurston's been great. I mean, they've won several grants over the term of the contract.
So, a question about the awarded grants.
Yep.
And I'm not that sophisticated about these things, but I think of grants in kind of two baskets. Sure, you probably think of it in terms of 30 baskets, but I think of it in terms of one-offs, and then what are more durational grants type things. And so I'm aware that a number of different county entities have grants that they kind of apply for every year, and they usually get them.
Yep.
Are any of those in here?
The DR court one might be the one that.
Yeah, but you've not won every year. Yeah. I mean, that was when you won some years. You haven't won other years.
Right.
Again, we know someone's going to win, the CDBG grants, but they also are competitive. So, if you don't put a strong application in, you may not get funded. I mean, so our goal is to try to get our unfair share of grants. So, and again, it's a bit of a point game sometimes.
So what's your contract duration? Did we assume we renewed or something
I think you're renewed in January.
for 25?
Yep.
And that was for what amount? Do you know?
I did not have that.
It's 250,000, 12,500.
And then are there any, I don't want to say like extras. In other words, like, so you have a contract with us, which you're producing under. I'm not questioning the product. But is there a way in your communication with these other entities for you to upsell over the 150?
So, like, it's basically, if City of Lancaster were to call, and it's for like a really big, it's about how much time the grant will take. So we haven't had to upsell at all, or there's no opportunities really. There's a grant that they want to apply for, which will help them apply. We had in our workforce board had a grant we were interested in with HRSA, which was a really in-depth grant where they had to bring in somebody else to do it that had expertise. We paid extra for that.
Okay.
Because
It was also at the time, that was the first year of the contract, and in our contract, we were not doing any county agencies. So it was the first year of the contract, it was only townships and villages. And that was, part of the discussion is, I think county agencies had a need too. Our second and third year have been with townships, villages, and county agencies.
So, I think some people run from questions like how much are you getting paid and stuff like that. I'm not running from it at all, because what we're paying you to produce this is absolutely right, fair and square, and I'm happy to be transparent about it.
Yeah, and again, I think it's also saving communities time too. For granted, they don't spend the time and apply for something they're not going to win. We do spend time with a lot of communities kind of walking them through. Or I can tell you there's a lot of communities that that are interested. Maybe they see that one community won a parks grant when they go, well, how does that work? And we kind of tee them up for next year. So that'd be one where Bremen and Baltimore are looking at a parks grant we expect to come out in March. And they're trying to say, do the planning now, so when that grant comes out, they're in a better position to go after the funding. So it's that kind of support we're trying to get to.
Thank you.
I can't say enough good about Keith and the team. I've been on a number of calls with them, working through some of these grants, and sometimes you are hurting cats, and we appreciate that. But it is so very helpful, especially from hey, don't do this, maybe look at that, or get this in line before you're considering. And that is that saving of time and resources, but then being that support and helping us to frame things a good way to be successful.
Yeah, and I think it's bandwidth. You have enough, lots of hats you're wearing, and I think many of the county agencies and the communities do, where we're just giving that extra bandwidth to help communities push these applications over the finish line.
And expertise, right? I mean, that's, we don't look at it the same lens that you guys do, and that is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
One of the helpful things is I'll just send something to Keith and say, hey, do you think this is worth our time? And he'll look it over and go, well, what are you thinking? We'll chat through it. And he's like, I wouldn't waste your time on that. There's, like one of the workforce grants where you're like, yeah, this is going to be a lot bigger than what, the county could get. So it's going to save us time. That saves us a lot.
So are you, your presentation?
Yeah, sorry.
I messed it up, sorry.
So, I'll just say this, I wrote a grant one time. Probably the most painful writing experience I've ever had in my life. And I swore I'd never do it again. And so I am extremely grateful to you and your team doing this all across the county. We, for the county now, met with all the townships and villages, and consistently in those conversations, we would hear about the budget, right? And that they didn't have money to do this, or they didn't have money to do that. Sorry. And so, you look at Madison Township and $10,886 to replace signs. Doesn't sound like a big deal. But to Madison Township that can't rub two nickels together, that is a huge deal, right? $500,000 for the village of Sugar Grove. That's a good chunk of their annual budget. So these things are moving the needle in every village and every township and with these agencies. So this is one of the investments that I'm most proud of that we've made. And I'm really, really appreciative that you and your team have partnered with us to make this stuff happen. This is really good stuff.
Well, we really enjoyed working with the communities. We've really gotten to know, many of the communities well, many of the county agencies. It's been a great partnership.
Mr. Legacy, any questions or comments?
So, of course, I met Brian Hicks from almost 10 years ago. He was the public face for the Lake Dam project.
Right.
And Ian Nicky, is Ian still with you?
Yep, Ian's still with us.
So,
Ian what?
Ian Nicky with the Hicks Partners. And but anyway, good experience. We had a good relationship, and it's continued on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mr. Davis, anything else?
No, I mean, I am wondering if there's any metric that we should be thinking about as a contractor. So obviously these numbers are outstanding in relationship to what we're paying and what we're getting in return. I feel very good about that. But I do catch myself wondering, with the work that you've done in this county to help so many entities and organizations with their grants, is there any data out there that would indicate that for our size, Fairfield County, from a grant standpoint, is doing better than some other similarly sized county? Or is there any way to I guess, kind of have a metric or any other than comparison to yourselves?
Yeah.
1 million last year, and this year we got 2 million.
Right.
Other than comparison to yourselves, is there any metric that makes sense here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's certainly, I bet there's envy at the County Commissioners Association. of counties that don't have such a program.
Let me try to address that, because I don't know that there's good data out there on all the townships and villages and all the counties around the state of Ohio that we could collect that would say who's doing what. I can tell you that I believe we're the only county in the state of Ohio that's funding this kind of activity directly. And that there are other counties within the CCAO that are asking how we're pulling this off. So, I'm happy to provide them with, the Hicks Partners information. But it's a great question, and I wish there was a good way to answer it.
I don't have an answer that I'm leading up to. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah. For example, Cuyahoga County, they have their own in-house grant writers, but they're not helping townships and villages in parts of the county. I mean, which I think is unique is I think this county recognizes that if the townships, the Madisons, the Thurstons, the Baltimores, gain money, it's good for everybody.
It is, and I don't know that my question's even fair, but I appreciate your work.
Yeah.
Dr. Brown.
There's some evidence that intergovernmental revenues within Fairfield County is higher than in like counties. So that would be found in annual comprehensive financial reports from a county level and then the Hinkle system for the township and village level. There's some evidence to show there's a little higher percentage of intergovernmental revenues, could be state, could be federal, than like-sized counties such as Lake.
Thank you. Actually, the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Just one more thing to add, in also trying to help the communities, has agreed to host a nonprofit grant writing forum on April 30th. They're also going to have a panel with South Central Power Foundation and with the Fairfield County Foundation to help our nonprofits learn how they can apply for grants, best tips.
Awesome.
I think Vince Perpico, Vince runs point on this for us. We've got a call every 2 weeks. I make it when I can, but Vince is there religiously making sure we're answering questions, helping out if somebody needs nudged.
Vince, we appreciate your work.
Mr. President.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. I think I asked for this update. I know my colleagues must have agreed with me on that. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to come share this with us. I had a feeling that things were going pretty well, but I did catch myself wondering, just how well, So thank you.
No, I appreciate it, and I think it's great to share some of the results and the enjoyment we've had working with everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And any questions? Don't hesitate to call.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, so next up we have public comments, and I just want to, first of all, 3 minutes as always. I want to be clear that we're not entertaining addressing or going after individual commissioners today. When that happens, if that happens today, we're going to set down comments, period. I appreciate the passion everybody has for their particular point of view. This is not an open season on picking on commissioners. So with that, please, if you're interested in making a public comment, step to the podium, state your name and address, remarks. 3 minutes.
Isaac Berry. I live at 9665 New Salem Road, Pleasantville, Ohio. My name is Isaac Berry. I was the one that asked the rhetorical question. I'm not going to repeat it. This was not the point I was trying to make. This was not meant to be attack on you, but that is the way it came out. I've heard great things about you as through your employees at the marina. I respect you as a man and a human. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a farmer. I could have worded it a lot better, and I sincerely apologize for that. The point I was trying to make is I was asking why 12 out of the 13 townships have voted against industrial solar projects. Do you not oppose as well? Most importantly, Walnut Township, where the project will take place, does not want it there. We need you to represent the people of Fairfield County. We need you to stand with the majority and be the voice for Fairfield County and Walnut Township. I do not represent citizens of Fairfield, although I do agree with what they stand for. I'm speaking for myself, and I do not want my poor choice of words to reflect the group. Again, my comments were not directed towards you as a man, but as a county commissioner. I meant no disrespect. I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about what this will do to the future of my farm and my children. I am not politically correct. I choose words in a manner that did not come out right. I pray for you and the leaders of this country to seek God first. And I thank you for your time.
Who would be next?
Good morning. I'm Melissa Hoover Connor, and I live at 7710 Cottontail Road. I wanted to bring to your attention this morning that if you're not familiar with the public hearing process in front of the Ohio Power Siting Board, when that happened on January 27th and 28th, the Ohio Power Siting Board lays out its own petitions for people to be able to sign if they are in favor of the project or opposed to the project. I can tell you that we estimate that there were somewhere between 450 and 500 people over the course of the 2 nights that attended the hearings. By looking at the petitions that were posted on the Ohio Power Siting Board site, we were able to do a very careful review to see which of those people who signed those petitions actually live in Fairfield County. In doing so, we found that there were 307 people who lived in Fairfield County who were opposed to the project. We also found that of those people who support the project, there are 20. We are not discouraged, gentlemen. We continue to bring you the facts as we find them so that you may represent your constituents in a fair and meaningful way. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Be next.
Marks. So let's see if I,
Your name and address, please, sir. Thank you.
Robert Slater II. I live at 13285 State Route 37, also known as Lancaster North Red. It doesn't go to Newark. That's what we call it. And they should call it Granville Pike. I think that would help us all. Mr. Davis, heard you mention, and this is addressed to everyone. I appreciate you sharing with your fellow commissioners that you received some information from the Ohio Power Siting as an ad hoc member. That's how you identify yourself. You offered your opinion on what you received. And you were concerned that the rest of us may have received identical letter. I don't know if this you received or not. I feel I came into this process late for township ad hoc member. I thought I could have been contacted much sooner by Mrs. Price. This came more than 10 days after I had received this appointment. Down in this, I don't know if it's a form letter or not, but several paragraphs down, it says it wants me to go research the Stark County effort. Stark Solar. I don't know why they directed me to that. Maybe they didn't change the type in as far as people living next to the project, I've been doing lots of reading. scares me is the amount of reading that I've done for the sake of our constituents is I may have already tripled what others that may consider this decision. God help us. May have already read more than they will ever read, maybe multiple times what they will spend. Keep checking your watch. I guess the people that live next to this project, I heard one of the commissioners refer to the Buckeye Lake Dam project. How instrumental this group that just left. There was a point in time around our Buckeye Lake, and I rubbed elbows at Lakewood meetings about what we needed to do to support Buckeye Lake's dam. I rubbed elbows with a commission there. We all realized that there was several things that would be positive to fix that dam. There was things about that dam that Army Corps said, drain it. Not gonna fix it. Drain it. There was a point in time where we couldn't even get anybody, there was moments, many moments, we couldn't get anybody to even do an appraisal for properties that fronted on that project on Buckeye Lake. And I rubbed elbows at meetings where we stood behind those people. I'm sorry. We were very concerned about our neighbors on that waterfront, on the dam, on the south bank, and areas that weren't on the dam, and what it might do to property values. We weren't even going to be able to get anybody to touch an appraisal. Because the people that surround this potential plant, this project, they even going to be able to get a realtor to step forward and help them sell their nest egg, which they're supposed to have for the sake of their retirement. If they lose $100,000 in value, we have waterfront properties on Buckeye Lake. People spend $400,000 and $500,000. They tear them down. Mr. Davis, I hope you and I are studying enough for this. I'm sorry, and I wish I had better prepared remarks. I'm sorry. It's not a public speaker. Dave, you realize if you tied my hands, I wouldn't be able to talk.
You did just fine. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to?
Appreciate the effort.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to address the commission this morning? All right, and thank you all for being here. Yes, please.
Appreciate the apology. I'll just reiterate that an attack on one commissioner is an attack on us all. And if you think attacking me is a good plan, you need a new strategy. You didn't attack me, I'm not saying that, but stuff going on publicly and privately to attack the commissioners. And I'm just telling you, if people want to play that game, you're playing it the wrong way.
It's not for anyone in particular here today. I'm assuming it's in general, out there in public.
Things going on that people don't know about, and I'm just telling you, playing these games against my colleagues is a losing strategy for either side.
All right. Legal update.
Nothing to report.
All right. County administration update, Ani.
Right, thank you, Commissioner. Don't go too far, Stephen, because the first one I might want you to chime in on. For the resolution review, but before that, we're going to talk about Love and Transit. This week is I Love Transit Week. It's a statewide recognition. And this Friday on Valentine's Day, which seemed appropriate, we're going to host a ride-along beginning at 9:45 in the Job and Family Services lobby to gather folks there to hop on a bus and travel one of the main loops here in town. I believe we're taking the one out towards Edie Road, just giving everybody an opportunity to see what it is like to ride a bus in our community and how that is for folks that rely on that as their form of transportation. And even if you don't have to rely on it, it's still available and a good opportunity. Trying to share that as well. So there's our little flyer. We do ask folks to RSVP just so we make sure, because seating on the buses is limited, so we want to make sure we have enough spots for everyone. So please let us know if you would like to ride that, but we've extended that offer to a number of folks and a little slow to hear from people so far. So we're hoping those RSVPs will start coming in today. And thanks to Bennett for his work helping on this event, as well as we're going to recognize the bus drivers and the folks that ride it with some little snacks and just some recognition on Thursday. Is that correct, Bennett?
That's correct.
So thank you for your work on that, Bennett. I appreciate it.
There's 200,000 trips that happen riders in Fairfield County on transit. That's a whole lot more than I realized. There's such a need in this opportunity. The best part about it this last year was to talk to the people that couldn't get in with public transit. So it's coming out of.
Yeah, wonderful. And we will have a follow-up event probably in April, a ribbon cutting, so to speak, on the new branding for transit. We were hoping these would be able to coincide, but it just didn't work out. But we have exciting things to share. We're going to keep that under wraps and in a garage for now, right, Greg? All right. Any questions on that, commissioners? All right. Highlights of resolutions review packet does contain a list of administrative approvals, and there are 13 resolutions on the agenda for the regular voting meeting. There is a resolution on the agenda to appropriate a perpetual easement for a section of roadway in Greenfield Township. The section of this road doesn't currently meet design requirements, and the county engineer has determined that hazard protection, shoulder widening, and a culvert replacement are needed. The owners of the property, Mr. and Mrs. Wagner, were noticed. Mrs. Wagner is willing to convey the requested easement, but Mr. Wagner's interests have not been probated as he did pass away last year. Under revised code 163.06A, the county must file a petition to appropriate the property and receive a title for the easement. Jeremiah, Stephen, anything else to add on that?
To boil all that down, since there's probate issues, the quickest way for us to be able to get in there and do the work that we need to do is to send it to appropriations. We discussed that with the family. They're well aware of why we're doing it in agreement, so there's no issue.
Even anything else?
It's just a weird fluke of the way that the deed was worded that's required in this whole situation.
Thanks everyone for their work on that. We also have a resolution from EMA for appropriations and in advance for grant dollars received from the Central Ohio Trauma System Grant Award. The grant award was originally $8,000, and then an additional $1,000 was received after the budgeting process. There's an advance from the general fund for this for the $8,000. John?
That's this is going to support, which we believe is the first mass triage virtual reality training locally, partnering with Ohio State to do that. So that's actually starting up here this week.
Wonderful. Thank you.
If you'd like to take it. Yeah.
Probably not, but thank you for offering.
Don't know what this one is.
Goggles
Oh,
on.
okay. Okay, gotcha. All right. We also have a resolution from regional planning for a change order for the CDBG program year 2022 Village of Pleasantville Park Concessions and Pavilion Restrooms project. The change order is for necessary furnishing, delivery, and installation of concession stand equipment and bathroom partitions. The change order does increase the contract price by just over $10,000. Holly?
Just this grant is the 2022 grant, which was not even started when I came back. So we got an extension. We're working through it. We're down to our final days. Everything must be done by February 28th. My conversations with the engineers that are running the project in Pleasantville is that everything will be done by that date. I want to give a shout out to Mayor Henderson to get this change order. We'll take them down to within what a grant amount so that we can use on this recovery and audit to the community. We're getting a little bit more than what we anticipated. So I'm thankful that I got to work on that.
He's a good resource for Pleasantville there. And then lastly, regional planning also has a resolution to approve a replat of the Valley View Farm subdivision, section 1, lots 6 and 7 in Pleasant Township. The plat for the subdivision was originally recorded in 2005. Anything else on that, Holly?
Yeah, Darren's here. He's excited to get it signed so he can get
Okay, wonderful.
Please.
All right. Art, any budget update?
No update this week.
All right, thank you. Rochelle, calendar review and invitations received, please.
Thank you. The Transportation Improvement District will hold a meeting this afternoon at 1 p.m. at the Records Center. The Fairfield County Workforce Center will host a Google meeting on February 12th at 11 a.m. Lancaster State of the City address will be at the Crossroads Ministry Center on February 13th at 9:45 a.m. And as stated earlier, the transit ride-along is this Friday. Again, if planning to ride, meet at 9:45 in the JFS lobby. A save the date was received for the Friends of Adam H. annual dinner, and that will be April 29th at the Crossroads Event Center. The following correspondence received by the Commissioner's for the Commissioner's Office. Ohio Department of Transportation Taxation sent the journal entry for the status of reappraisals. Meals on Wheels, the Senior Hub will have their annual March for Meals Community Champions Week, March 17th through 21st. Correspondence from the Office of the County Auditor, the Fairfield County Municipal Court Criminal Traffic Division Fee Report, and correspondence regarding industrial solar projects.
Thank you, Rochelle. Anything else for you, Ani?
No, that's it, Commissioner. Thank you.
All right, elected officials, Mr. Meyer.
Good morning. Recorder McKenzie and Judge Vandervoort and I are presenting to the Fairfield County Bar Association, the probate attorneys. Tomorrow, you may remember the Good Deeds program that we presented back several months ago. We are talking to them tomorrow to ask for volunteers to participate in the program. This is kind of our first public presentation of that.
Anything else? Doug?
Just a reminder that I'm hosting my vendor Fiddler here for our annual update conference. So I'll be having several counties coming to visit county reporters. So we'll be hosting that here on Thursday.
Jeremiah?
So we're taking advantage right now of not having a bunch of snow. It was a big time. We're getting a lot of our just getting stuff caught up. We're trying to get caught up with logging some dry pipes where they plug me in, ditching work. The little things that sometimes get overlooked when we get in the middle of construction. So nice to have a little break in winter time, get some of that stuff done. Roll up here on March. We'll take about 3 weeks to go out, get all the roads, do trash pickup, kind of get those picked up. None of us like it, including me, because I hear about it and we're not getting any work done, but it's necessary. Helps roads look good. And then we'll be, here within the next 2 months, we'll be bidding all our jobs, getting those lined up for construction this year. Started with that rolling.
So you know, as soon as you say out loud, we haven't had any snow, you know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Is it
So-
happening right now?
So, Dr. Brown.
Good morning. Yesterday, we conducted an entrance conference with our new auditors, Perry and Associates. Anytime you have new auditors, there's a certain amount of trepidation that comes about. And I will say that they have very good communication strategies, very good communication tools. And I'm very encouraged to develop this longer term relationship with them and ask for everybody's consideration and respect and grace, because they're going to probably ask questions more than once that other auditors maybe that we've had in the past have asked only once. So just, have that grace, and they're certainly going to be showing grace with us. This was something that they were talking about in their communication strategies. Our county is the biggest project that they've ever conducted, but they're coming at it with that knowledge and they're excited about it. So, as a learning organization, I think this will be a good path. Legislation and property reform. There's a lot of discussion about that at this time. I just want to highlight 3 things that I think probably will come to pass. Expansion of the homestead program. It might not be the expansion that most would desire, but I think it will be an expansion to be beneficial to senior citizens. Replacement levies will likely be something that's going to be discussed as being removed as options. So that would tend to have a cap on increases in property taxes, but it'd be a change for many agencies who take that route. So it's something to watch. There is legislation and a recommendation relating to, you hear words like guardrails, putting up guardrails so that there be a cap on any increases. And there is at least some discussion about a local option that would be connected with income levels at about $60,000 a year. So it's, $60,000 is as much as it used to be. And so there will likely be discussion about maybe that not going far enough as well. But I highlight those 3 things because they seem to be having a lot of attention. from our perspective in our office, we've been going around to different municipalities, townships, and political subdivisions. We're talking about this subject as well as our strategic plan. And we are now in testing of our 2 technology innovations. We are testing with Walnut Township, the lot split application. And again, thank you to Tony and Utilities and Jeremiah in the Engineer's Office, and Holly and Regional Planning, and Joe in the Health Department. It's been a really strong partnership, and that is moving ahead as expected. And we're very eager and excited about that. I was at Bloom Township last night, and they raved about this option and very positive in terms of bringing it on as quickly as possible. We're also testing the dock link with Walnut Township. And we had a demonstration about that yesterday, and it too is as we expect. The first phase will relate to budget commission aspects. The second phase will relate to settlement. This increases internal control and decreases data entry. I'm engaged in 3 different national organizations: Government Finance Officers Association, AGA, Association of Government Accountants, and GASB, the Government Accounting Standards Board, peer review committees and commissions and boards. And for the first time in 15 years, I'm actually going to Washington, D.C. for the conference that's coming up next week. Usually I participate virtually in a webinar, but teaching that for the past 10 years. And then this year, they asked if I do the keynote portion and participate that with AGA. So I'm excited about that. I know you passed a resolution that allows elected officials to travel up to their appropriated amount of travel and expenses. This is one that I'll be using this year. And it is unusual, but I'm very excited about it because it's going to be a very good conference. I tested some of the presentation material with the state auditor last week. I taught a course with the local government services. It went very well. It was a very exciting time, and got to see some people I haven't seen in a long period, some more than 30 years. And so it was really good to connect with some people in person. Some things that might be interested to the commissioners is that the GIS submitted the maps of annexation and all boundaries for the US Census, and that's due in March. We've already submitted it, and that's part of the foundation for federal grants. So bringing the discussion full circle, that's already been taken care of.
Congratulations on the keynote. That's a big deal.
Lunchtime keynote, it's not quite the same thing as,
Still,
it's not Sinead O'Connor. That's who did not Sinead O'Connor, but Soledad O'Brien. Got the wrong
Irish.
in my head. Yeah, I got the wrong Irish thing there.
Irish to me.
You know, but it's not that, but it is exciting to be able to be part of it.
It's good. Thank you. Tony.
I have a question for Tony.
Yeah.
Who's the kind soul that put a nice sweatshirt on my desk? That
Josh Anderson.
you're kind. Do I owe anybody? Thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
Great.
Sweatshirts. So, you know, I have opportunity to be involved in a lot of regional economic development things. And, One Columbus, the trend that we've seen for the last year and a half, and it continues to be more so than before. A lot of their leads historically were in office and IT type things. While us in Fairfield County, we're all focusing on manufacturing. It was probably about 80-20, 20% manufacturing. It is now up to almost 70% manufacturing leads for our region. So we truly are becoming that manufacturing hub. And, you know, Pickerington Schools, which is the 14th largest school district in the state, we have a unique situation in our county compared to some of our other schools. And they have the bandwidth to do a lot of things. And I brought some of their administrators down to look at the engineering tech lab last week. As they walked through, they were just floored. We had to go use engineering team there, talking to them, and you know, and just selling them on manufacturing is the future for this region. And we're going to do some pretty cool stuff with them moving forward. It's just really nice to see all of that coming together, all the investment that you guys have made on this.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for all you're doing over there. Continue. Thank you. Can't follow that, can you?
Neither can I. John may help make the.
Dan, you got nothing? My badge works today. Thank you. Very excited about that. Corey?
Nothing for me either.
Good. Jeff? Good. All right. We will go into our, old business. Commissioner Davis.
That's great. We had a good meeting with the NCJDC this week. I don't know if the title was chairman or president or whatever, the Joint Board of Commissioners for this year. And just really encouraged by what NCJDC is doing, what our judge is doing. Trying to treat troubled children as humanely as possible. World that probably hasn't sorted out how to do that yet. Thank you.
So we had an opportunity to attend a meeting at Greenfield Township where they were presenting their the land use plan to the public. They had sent out postcards to all their residents. They had 150 people in the room. I was there just to attend, and after maybe 5 minutes, I was asked to stand up and answer questions, and did that for a little bit more than an hour and a half. The room started with we don't want growth here. Kind of the whole evolution that we've seen Greenfield Township go through was a microcosm in that evening. We don't want growth here. We recognize growth is coming. Thank you, Township trustees, for planning for it. Thank you for thinking of using the financial tools that will allow us to benefit from it. It was a really positive outcome for those three trustees who have faced a lot of tough questions and people who don't really understand what's happening around them. They actually got a round of applause at the end of the evening, which was a big deal. So it's just kind of showing how all the work that all of us have put into this is now coming about. So they were asked to move forward more quickly with their agreement with Lancaster, and to move forward more quickly with getting their plan done, and to potentially take another look at their zoning code. So really just a positive outcome for Greenfield, who is right in the crosshairs of everything that we're doing. It's really, really nice night for them. New business, Commissioner Levacy.
So today I'll meet with our group and continue the discussion about having our own Fairfield County Veterans Hall of Fame.
Thank you for doing that.
I don't have any new business, but I wondered if you might have any additional information in terms of what we're doing at the Wednesday meeting.
Yeah, I don't. I was approached by a friend of mine, and you've met before, John Campbell, who works with Google. One of their pretty high ups handles all the data centers in the eastern half of the United States and all Canada. It's coming to Lancaster, I think, to attend the State of the City address on Thursday. Okay. She asked to meet with their folks of influence in Fairfield County, just to get to know and talk about what their vision is for the future, both in general and here in Fairfield County.
So let's call it a meet and greet.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to ask Stephen, any concerns at all with 2 or 3 commissioners attending a meet and greet with Google?
We've noticed it.
Oh, we noticed it?
Yeah.
Didn't know. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my new business. We are meeting with the lady who's in charge of data centers for Google for the eastern half of the United States and Canada. I know that City of Lancaster already obviously has one Google data center in place. There's talk of another one, so not sure where that conversation is going to go. In general, we're happy to entertain any developer who wants to have a conversation about how they want to develop a certain piece of land. Less excited about data centers in general, in that they take up so much electricity that it would be difficult for the 2 electric providers that service Fairfield County to adequately take care of more than a couple more of them and keep the lights on for all the rest of us. Conversations have turned to, well, we create our own power. The gas lines that run all over Fairfield County, there's an availability for someone to create electric generation plant using natural gas. So those are different conversations that we're now having. All that to say, anytime that someone like this from a company like Google wants to come to Lancaster and have a conversation about the future, happy to have that conversation. Anything else? All right, we're going to go up for a voting pattern. Guys, can you please rise if you're able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Rochelle, are there any announcements?
There are not.
Commissioner, just one update. The state of the city is at 11:15, not 9:45. Incorrectly mentioned for this Thursday. And it's also, it was Bart's birthday yesterday too.
Bart, you're supposed to have it on day that we meet so we can sing to you. Next year, maybe. Anyway, all right. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes of the February 4th meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Minutes passed 3-0. From the Commissioners, Resolution 2025-2.11.a, a resolution to appropriate a perpetual easement for highway purposes from parcel number 013-00285-00 for the Stringtown Road Culvert Replacement Project.
So moved.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2025-2.11.b, a resolution authorizing the First Amendment to the subgrant agreement between Hocking College and the Fairfield County Board of County Commissioners.
So moved.
Discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, Resolution 2025-2.11.c, resolution to request for appropriations for receipts for EMA Central Ohio Trauma System Grant Award Fund 2090 and Advance 8221.
So moved.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2025-2.11.d, a resolution to approve a reimbursement for sheriff costs for monthly postage paid to Fairfield County Commissioners as a memo expenditure for Fund County Engineer 2024 motor vehicle.
Under Fairfield County Engineer, I move resolutions D, E, and F.
Discussion?
It's a little outside of this, Jeremiah, but I see they're starting to put flags out around Coon Path and 158. Any idea when that's going to move forward?
It's actually supposed to move forward this year, but it got delayed because they're having issues with getting utilities moved. I believe the flags have to do with the utilities that they're trying to get out of the way, get that thing set up so they can actually move some dirt.
Who do you think will be next year?
Yes. I think you'll see utilities moving this year and major construction next year.
Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Family and Children First Council, Resolution 2025-2.11.g, a resolution approving an account-to-account transfer into a major expenditure object category, Fund 7521.
So moved.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2025-2.11.h. A resolution to approve a reimbursement for share of costs for postage as a memo expenditure for Fund 2018.
Under Fairfield County Jobs and Family Services, resolutions H, I, and J.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, Resolution 2025-2.11.k. A resolution to approve a change order number 2 for the CDBG PY 2022 Village of Pleasantville Op Park Concessions and Restroom Pavilion Project.
Under Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, I move resolutions K and L.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Sir, your lots have been replatted.
Payment of bills, Resolution 2025-2.11.m. A resolution authorizing the approval of payment of invoices for departments that need Board of Commissioners approval.
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled for February 18th at 9 a.m. in this room.
Any other business before the board this morning? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming today.